right now, and then Peter Otai, get ready. I have a couple of questions regarding experience and a lot of stuff which I'm about to witness in this game today. So that's the squad for national team of Tanzania coming up with 4-3-3.
Yeah, Foba, the young Foba is in goal. Then, of course, Mohamed Hussein, Hamad, Monyeto, and Shumari Kapumbe are the ones that are operating the back. And, of course, you have a footballer called Mombwa, together Msanga, all available in there. And, of course, the shot number 8 is the usual. Okay, that's Mombwa, sorry.
Mombwa, yeah.
Then 27 is Msanga. Looking for the goals up front, Msuva, together with Samata, and 26 belonging to, that is Alakia, is that right?
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Alakia,
that is how it will be standing for the Tanzanians. 4-3-3.
Okay, so I'm coming up with a thing, because I was talking about the experience and an issue of having some experienced player. They say that one of a position, we need an experienced player who can allocate and guard defense. It's a goalkeeper. Having a young goalkeeper and have the experienced guys who have been having a lot of caps of type of stars. Shomari Kapombe, Mohamed Hussein, Baka and Job.
Yeah. To be honest, I should have expected for the squad to have Manula, but unfortunately he wasn't called. So now we have a youngster on goal. It could be a little bit of challenge, but then we have experienced Mamieto, and then you have Baka. Hopefully they will be able to help organize the defense and be that commanding force towards staying compact and really taking on to the pressure. Again, I hope the new goalkeeper doesn't get too excited, because I know Super Eagles have been coming with flying crosses and deadly balls for Osemi.
Let us look at the lineup of Super Eagles before we start analyzing the tactical aspect of the game. This guy. Okay.
Victor Osimhen.
Okay, Victor Osimhen. They're coming up with the same tactical approach of a game, 4-3-3.
Yeah.
And that's the squad of Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria have a very experienced goalkeeper. That is Nwabali. He's been there. He knows what it's all about. So he's one good goalkeeper that you have to look out for. Then, of course, Zaidu, Basse, Ajayi, Osei, all available at the back. Then you have Iwobi, Ndidi, and Chuku. Then looking for the goal, Lukman, Osimhen, and Adams. That's that's rich.
Sundu Elise, Tanzania, there is an underdog story there. They're the next hosts of the Africa Cup of Nations, or co-hosts at least. They need this tournament to be strong. The importance of getting off to a strong start from a Tanzanian perspective against Nigeria.
Well, if they want to stand any chance against this Nigerian team, I think they just have to play 100%. They have to play their best football today. But that notwithstanding, I think for Nigeria to dominate this game, Nigeria has to really be important in this tournament. Nigeria has to impose their physicality in this game. They have to really take control of this game from the beginning. So it's going to be pretty important how Nigeria starts this game.
So the sides out, the CAF anthem complete. We pause now for the national anthems of the respective sides, Nigeria and Tanzania. Nigeria, we hail thee, readopted last year. And now for the national anthem of Tanzania. Mungu ibariki Africa. God bless Africa. And indeed, the Africa Cup of Nations is a blessing for many on the continent. It's a blessing and an opportunity for these players here and now. We're moments away as the anthems fade, hands are shaking, eyes getting locked in. You can see it on the faces. There's pride, there's nerves, there's belief. Nigeria will shoulder expectation. Tanzania will wear theirs like fuel. Stanley Nwabali starts in goal for the Super Eagles, a man who had an impressive clean sheet run at the last Africa Cup of Nations, but ahead of him he's got a very strong defensive lineup. Led by Calvin Bassey, Shemi Ajayi is 3 away from 50 international appearances for Nigeria as well. Wilfred Ndidi, Alex Iwobi among those who'll lock up things in midfield, but watch out for the dangerous players wide. Chukwueze, Lukman and Osimhen starts with Adams in a dangerous attacking front prong. This is a Nigerian side that has got all the potential to do something extraordinary at this tournament. Can they start on the front foot here with a positive platform to launch a successful campaign? For Tanzania, the Taifa Stars, as they pose for their pre-match photographs, there'll be coin toss conducted between the respective captains momentarily, but a Taifa Stars side that shows some belief themselves. A quick meet and greet between the respective coaches, Miguel Gamondi of Argentina, who coaches Tanzania, and Eric Schell, the Cote d'Ivoire-born Franco-Malian coach who is in charge of Nigeria and has been since January this year, nearly a year in the role. Coin toss being conducted by Dan Beda, who turns 34 next week, the Mauritanian man who's been a FIFA official since 2018 and one of the finest on the continent. Ndidi and Samata shake hands. There's much respect between the two, but formalities all but complete. Haga Hussam Ibrahim is the man in charge of the VAR room. He is the video assistant referee for today's tie. Tanzania line up as follows at the Complex Sportif de Fez. It's a very first international start for Zuberi Foba, who is in goal for this Tanzanian side. Hussein down the left flank is critical in terms of his experience. So too the likes of Novatus Miroshi, who's now playing in Turkey. But up front it is Bwana Samatta, who wears the captain's armband, who leads the line, and Simon Msuva, who plays his 100th match in an international jersey for Tanzania, but 7 of his previous 99 fixtures have not been official matches, so it's only his 93rd cap today, but 100 international appearances is a milestone in its sense that should be celebrated. Nigeria and the huddle. Tanzania spread out across the park. They are ready. Final word from the captains, perhaps. Referee checking his watch. The ball resting on the centre spot. Nigeria know they must impose themselves early. Tanzania know they need to survive, absorb, and then strike when invited. The countdown has begun. This is Africa's game at its rawest. Its passion, its identity, and its possibility compressed into 90 minutes. Dani Beda says we can get underway, and Nigeria kick us off at the Complex Sportif de Fez. The journey begins, the stories start to write themselves, and somewhere in this match, character will be revealed as the next chapter is written. It's Nigeria in their traditional green and black. It is Tanzania in the blue and yellow. Hello and welcome as Al-Rahia gets onto the end of a ball for Tanzania, looking to push forward down towards the near side where Mombwa looks back to his midfield. This is a busy Tanzanian side who enjoy passing the ball around. Miroshi with a little error that is seized upon immediately by Lukman, who finds Osimhen, and Nigeria look to pounce early. The cutback, it falls into a little pocket of space inside the 18-yard area. And my word, what a frantic start we've had. Because I'd like to introduce the man alongside me, who, between us, we have one Olympic gold medal. Sunday Olise, the legendary Super Eagles player and coach, is alongside for this tie. Nigeria against Tanzania, this Complex Sportif de Fez. Group C start for both these sides. And Nigeria want to get this match off on the front foot, but Tanzania looking to take something from this tournament as they host the next one. A quick look at Eric Schell, the Nigeria head coach, the 48-year-old in charge. Almost a year he's been in the role now, while his opposite number, Miguel Gamondi of Argentina, is the Tanzania coach. But Sunday, just looking at this fixture, lots of importance wrapped into 90 minutes here and now.
This game is extremely important for Nigeria, more than it is for Tanzania. I think that from the onset, we cannot afford to just play this game. We have to take control of this game, and we must win this game. Nigeria must win this game. It's a must win, and tactically, the way the Tanzanians are put on the pitch now is very obvious that they are all set up for a counter-attacking football. And that means that Nigeria has to be very, very careful when they lose the ball.
Opportunity down the centre here. Chukwueze in a central role, looks to feed it out wide. Delivery comes from the flying fullback. Zaidu Sunusi finds himself up in an attacking area. Final touch of Bright Osei. It's Taran Al-Rahia, the 28-year-old, based in England, in Rochdale. Been around a while for Tanzania, has not played overly many matches. Made his debut ahead of the start of the last Afcon tournament as a warm-up match against Egypt. There's Calvin Bassey.
Nigeria cannot afford to play this game with a very slow tempo. The Tanzanian players are not used to very high tempo, as is evidenced by the club sides they play for. So as long as you play this tempo, a very slow tempo, they will be used to it. So we need to go faster.
Rack up the intensity, and a man who knows all about intensity is Victor Osimhen. Down he goes, takes a tumble under the challenge of the hard man from Yanga, Ibrahim Abdullah. Holds up his hand in an apologetic fashion. Looking to make that challenge from an awkward angle. Ends up taking down Osimhen without touching the ball. Free kick, Ajayi. Again, nods it back to Bright Osei. Here's Nwabali. I think there's a lot of pressure on Nwabali.
There is more than a lot of pressure, Dwayne, because the issue is that Nwabali is not really, he's had a difficult time lately, and he just has to perform. He has to perform.
Ball out to the far side. Zaidu Sunusi joining the attacking line. Iwobi controls Mattis inside to Chukwueze. Outside of the boot. Little crisp on the delivery. Ricochets out towards Ajayi. Calvin Bassey alongside him.
We can see from here that there's too little movement from the Nigerian side when they're in ball possession. And that's why they can't find players to play in those deep holes that are in front.
And this is where Iwobi brings that leadership on the park that perhaps is required.
Yeah, players like Iwobi have to really make sure they find players in those loopholes.
That's very, very good recovery from Abdullah to deny Osimhen potential on the end of that. Chukwueze looks from range, and well, it was a little bit of a bobble. Zuberi Forba manages to bring that under control. Zuberi Forba Musudi. It's his first ever international start, and it's come against Nigeria at an Africa Cup of Nations. It doesn't really get much bigger than this. He's played a sum total of 24 minutes off the bench for Tanzania previously. So this is dropping the Azam goalkeeper into the proverbial deep end. But will he sink or swim?
Well, I'm kind of optimistic for the manager. I need to be. we all need to be. But when this is what the Tanzanian team, this is where they could be very dangerous. A team that is playing deep defensively, all they need now are set pieces. This is dangerous for Nigeria. Set pieces are what teams that play counter-attack live for.
Delivery in, and Nwabali has no problem in plucking that out of the air. Had a very good run at the last Africa Cup of Nations, where he kept a host of clean sheets. Didn't concede between the opening match against Equatorial Guinea until the semi-final against South Africa.
Okay, yeah.
As he ended up maintaining a run of 494 minutes without conceding, which is astonishing at a tournament of this level. As he will be again, dictating pace and tempo. Say forward.
The tempo is too slow. It has to be quicker than that. Yeah.
And this time, Novatus Miroshi, not somebody who's characteristically putting in a stray pass in midfield, manages to pass to the opponent, and Nigeria back in possession. Calvin Bassey, again Iwobi, there asking for the ball, pleading for the ball, receives the ball, now Chukwueze. Zaidu Sanusi asked a great deal of Sanusi, goal kick it is.
Not a bad ball, but it's just the dosage that I think was not... yeah, because the ball got to him eventually. So.
Might have a point, Zaidu Sanusi.
Yeah, I think so.
Good call for a corner kick there. It should be steered forward by Kapombe. Veteran Simba defender. Just taking a look at the respective coaches, though. Eric Schell is perhaps a little younger, more tactically modernised than Gamondi, who's a seasoned veteran, very pragmatic coach. Somebody who 20-odd years ago was coaching in South Africa, winning league titles.
Well, we're kind of like seeing it already in the way the teams are playing. One is already playing pragmatic, and while the other one is going, offensive. So
maybe that's out of necessity,
coupled with the nature of the manager.
Miguel Gamondi, here he is, seasoned traveller in African football circles. He's coached with Burkina Faso, he's coached in Morocco, in fact, with Wydad. He's coached in Tunisia with Esperance, with Mamelodi Sundowns, the former continental champions in South Africa, with Belouizdad in Algeria. And more recently with young Africans and Singida Black Stars in Tanzania. Here's a chance for Nigeria again, little breakthrough, tight angle, acute angle, and it's brilliantly blocked by Foba to deny Akor Adams, the very physical, mobile striker.
These are occasions Nigeria has to make very good use of. The sooner they can break, the better it is. And beautiful movement by Akor here. The lateral movement before going deep, that's what kept him away from the offside. Very, very beautiful movement. Unfortunately, the finishing did not equate the movement.
Well, he's somebody who brings a lot of mobility up front for this Nigerian side. He's a physical presence, very strong, very mobile. His finishing is excellent. That's his movement, I think, that is often so critical.
Well, from this movement he just made, it kind of like tells you where he's playing. These are the kind of movements you see a lot from the Spanish players.
That's right, yeah.
And that's he plays his football in Seville, if I'm not abusing.
Indeed.
So you can see that the movement he gave was first of all lateral. The fact that he goes lateral makes it difficult for the defender to take him on. And when the ball comes in, it saves him from being on offside. And that's what he just showed here. So kids watching, learn from this.
Learn from this. Learn from the Brains Trust meeting for Nigeria as well. There will be Basi, Osimhen among those. Shemia Jai is in there, Ndidi. All having a little chat just off to the side of this area. Our attention focused on the goalkeeper Foba, who was receiving a little medical attention after perhaps catching the ball in the face. As Akor Adams looked to finish. 10 minutes gone, no goals as yet, but Nigeria have the corner here. Chukwueze. Header off the woodwork. Agonisingly close, the taller men forward, and Nigeria with a crisp delivery from Chukwueze are inches away from taking the lead in this tie, as Bassi came running onto it with some power behind it as well.
Yeah, very good movement for Bassi. They're taking off, and the way he's able to stay.
No,
it's not Bassi.
Thought it was Bassi from our angle, from our vantage point, but it's Akor Adams who's got the final touch on there. Foba looks for the long ball downfield. That Ndidi nods back in towards Tanzanian territory. Picked up though by Tanzanian defence. Miroshi looks to bring it near side. Confirmation that it remains goalless. Salarahia unable to reel that in. They're missing one of their playmakers today. Unavailable is Faisal Saloum. Feitoto, a nickname he often plays under. somebody who's played in the domestic scene in Tanzania, and many have expected him to make the move beyond Tanzanian borders. Such is his creativity, but unavailable today. Little push through, and this time defence required. Mieto looking to deny the chance. Kapombe, some work out wide as well for Tanzania. Nigeria have Osimhen central, 2 players looking to get on the end of that. Abdullah, I think, got the touch on it before it rolled out of play. Throw in to Nigeria right near the corner flag. Oh, sorry. Quick little 1-2 with his captain. Back to Ajay. Calvin Bassey now. 3 of these players play in the Premier League with Fulham. Nigeria brought a very strong and pedigreed side, but Chukwueze Iwobi, like Bassey, both they find themselves playing in the Premier League with Fulham.
It's pretty obvious, and it's pretty obvious what the Tanzanians are playing, what they're doing, and so far they are doing it well.
Kapombe flying up on their far side flank. He's got 2 men to aim at. Maybe just offside, but a lovely acrobatic attempt at a finish that Nwabali gathers up cleanly. A little bit of a run from Suva into an attacking area. He's a decidedly dangerous finisher.
The Super Eagles have to attack, but at the same time they have to be very careful and make sure that they don't allow the opposition to go on a counter.
That ball just in behind Shemi Ajayi. You don't want your defenders looking back at their goal. There's a lovely ball in behind the Nigerian defensive line. Inside Sanusi. Spent his entire career playing in Portugal. First with Santa Clara, now with Porto, where he's been for the longest time. Continues to create havoc against Benfica. Did so when he was at Santa Clara, did so when he was at Porto. Loves O Clásico. He scored in O Clásico as well. Iwobi. Long ball, just a little too heavy and kind for Zuberi Foba, who gathers that up. Kapombe's outlet. In midfield, Miroshi is dropped back deep. A little bit of speed building up for Tanzania down that far side flank again. There's an opportunity. Out of play. Tanzanian throw. Bassi with a little bit of cover defence. Alarahi a little more central now. Usually plays in a wider position. Chukwueze picks up the loose ball, and here's a chance for Lukman. Osimhen looking to time his run as he's straight into an offside position. Maybe the chance to shoot. Fires powerfully and wide, and then eventually the offside flag is raised.
That was pretty what I'm hoping to see a lot from Nigeria. That is the counter and quick play, very few touches going forward. But I think if Osimhen had applied the lateral movement we spoke about earlier on a little bit more, he would have been able to keep himself onside. And his first touch got the ball moving away from him anyway, so that made it difficult for him to finish.
Difficulty here. Calvin Bassey, culprit, free kick going the way of Tanzania. The man who celebrates his 33rd birthday today, captain of Tanzania, Bwana Samata. The player fouled. He'll be the danger man. He's a player for the big occasion, and he's proved it in his time at Aston Villa. Played in the Premier League, scored in the Premier League, and his status as one of the finest from East Africa is very much secure, but he looks to see his star rise further here.
He is one player the Tanzanians will be looking to be on the ball should they get a scoring chance.
Well, I think he'll be the one player who's going to be expected to be starved of supply today. Video analysts these days come into the game so often, but Nigeria is certainly dominating the attack Sunday.
We're dominating everything here.
Delivery in on the edge of that 18-yard area. Again, it's a slightly heavy first touch. Lukman.
The transition has to be quicker.
Yep. So use of transition ball a couple of times has been crisp from Nigeria. On a couple of occasions, though, they've slowed the momentum down and failed to catch Tanzania on the counter. Didi. Nearly a little captain-on-captain action as Samata charged him down. Chukwueze wanted it, but it's gone the way of Lukman. Alarahia into a little pocket of space, coming across Calvin Bassey. Nicely picked up on it. Again, looking for a little flick onto somebody running from deep. Momba was expecting the ball to come out his way. On the near side as well. Maybe that option not seen. Alarahia. And that's a little too strong in behind Samata to correct his run and claim possession.
It's pretty clear what the Tanzanians are format here to do. We go compact, and when we get the ball back, we try to transition so quick as possible forwards. But they're doing it very well because the transitions, they just play one or two balls lateral, and then the next one is vertical. And that's what's making them push up forward easily against Nigeria at the moment.
He will be finding Lukman. Akor Adams. The ball snatched away. Battling in midfield is Demola Lukman. Alarakia down the near side flank. He's forcing Bright a few steps back, Bright will say. Chukwueze loses possession. Now a little run straight through the centre. Miroshi looking to create a little magic. Samata picks up on possession. Alarakia. Few outlets. Hussein is the one he chooses. The left back, standing close.
In as much as they seem to be playing a 4-4-2 formation, the Tanzanians, by ball possession, they're able to find themselves in triangles. And that's what's making it possible for them to really be able to play.
Oh, look at the pace of Chukwueze, just blazing his way past a few before eventually conceding a free kick. Tanzania, Kapombe, charging through to deny passage. Chukwueze recently earned his 50th appearance for Nigeria. Man who made his name at Villarreal. Oh, what a yellow submarine of a team he played in. So as we come up towards the 20th minute, I can tell you that there's a gentle rain that is starting to fall on the pitch now. And with it might bring some damp conditions that might prove testing for goalkeepers. So maybe a few long-range efforts on the cards. Bounce the ball in front of a goalkeeper. They do not like a ball bouncing in front of them in wet conditions, I can tell you. Nigeria 0, Tanzania 0 through 20 minutes of this Group C tie. Morocco 2025 well and truly alive as both these sides begin their Afcon campaign here and now. Akor Adams, is he onside? Looks to pull it back. Hussein with the defence.
Very mobile, Akor. Left, right, he's moving all through the face of the attack line.
Delivery into a danger area, and it's only just over the head of Victor Osimhen. Free kick awarded, though, to Tanzania as the rain starts to come down a little heavier now. Just a little push in the back, perhaps, of Bakari Momyeto.
Very beautiful pull-out.
Some inviting deliveries.
Exactly, he was looking for the second post there. And that is mostly dangerous, but very well negotiated by the goalkeeper.
So a lot of responsibility on his shoulders as well. I remind you, a first international start for Zuberi Forba, the 23-year-old goalkeeper who is man between the sticks for Tanzania today. Youngster from Azam. Brings some continental experience. in the CAF Confederation Cup into this tournament. Chukwueze again. Looks for a teammate. Osimhen can't find a finish from a ball that shot out in his direction. Zaidu Sanusi nods forward. He will be. Quick movement. 4 players wait inside the area for Nigeria. That's too strong. And skidding off the damp surface now. Sees the ball out of play and harmlessly rolls away for a Nigerian throw.
Those are the kind of pull-outs that we should avoid at the moment because of the nature of the pitch at the moment. And it's raining now. You have to try and get this ball low.
Yeah, I mean, we often talk about the rain, and sometimes you can actively see how it's disrupting a match. But when you're playing at this level with some of the finest footballers of the continent around you and against you, I mean, how challenging how challenging are the conditions when it starts to rain like this?
It shouldn't be challenging because the way you play, you have to change it. That's why you're a professional. The moment if it's raining, if the pitch is wet or if it's dry, it kind of like.
Shot here maybe going over was Lukman, but referee well positioned to make the call, says nothing in it. Tanzania show a little speed, looking for a way through, eventually work the ball back towards their goalkeeper, and Forba steers it high but not overly far. Hussein gets a touch and Al-Arakia brings it under control. Hussein, one of the longest servants of Tanzanian football, up to another particularly long-serving individual in Samata. Kapombe, Msuva, Samata and Hussein, players who've been around for the longest time for Tanzania. 3 of them approaching 100 international appearances, as Miroshi, who's among the more talented undoubtedly, works the ball out wide. Recently moved to Turkey, where he turns out for Göztepe now. Loose ball that'll be pounced upon. Hussein Al-Arakia on the halfway line, looking for options left and right. Space potentially opening up, and a little touch to just try to drop that ball onto the boot of Alphonse Mabula, the bright young talent now based in Azerbaijan.
As at the moment, I'm very impressed with the Tanzanians' third man run without the ball, especially, and it's working out so well for them now.
To the near side, Chukwueze is deep, back to Shemi Ajay. What do Nigeria need beyond just 3 points from this opening fixture?
They have to make a statement. They have to make a very big statement, and making that statement is not enough to just win this game. You have to win it convincingly.
Delivery over the top, Osimhen battling, he's been tugged on, and that'll be a free kick for Nigeria. Simon protesting vehemently and indeed confronting his opponent. Abdullah, I think it was, with the initial challenge. And now referee Dan Bader with a little bit of work to do to manage the situation.
Well, I think it's understandable that Osimhen, he's had to deal with so much injuries lately, so he wouldn't be pleased to want to taste anything from as regards injuries. So I can understand the bit, his attitude, but then again, he shouldn't exaggerate. He doesn't need to pick up a yellow card neither. So the referee's blown, and it's not a foul that is, I don't think it's a yellow card, kind of, that deserves a yellow card.
I think one of the annoyances there for Osimhen was Abdullah had his hand across the face mask of Osimhen for just a moment.
That didn't look intentional to me. It looks as if he was just trying to make a foul, but not as if he was going for the mask.
So set piece is where things will resume. Nigeria stand over this. They're around 10 yards outside of the 18-yard area, just to the right of their flank, as they look to fire one towards Forba's goal.
Set pieces are very important when you're playing against a team with a packed defense like the Tanzanians. So Nigeria has to make very good use of this. Against the packed defense, when you get set pieces, you have to use it to break the deadlock.
Demola Lookman, a man who's growing in stature, both for his Italian club side Atalanta and indeed for Nigeria, after establishing himself as an England youth international and winning the Under-17 World Cup and Under-20 World Cup in 2017. Here he goes and goes wide, but it takes a little deflection on its way through. So corner kick it is, and Nigeria have another set piece coming up towards half hour now. And the longer this goes without either side scoring a goal, the greater the belief will become for Tanzania. Nigeria recognise that and looking to push from set pieces. Corner to come, and out to the corner flag goes Samuel Chukwueze. He was phenomenal in creating goals for Villarreal in that Europa League winning season. Was it 4, 5 seasons ago now?
Yeah, that was, it was, in fact, that was where he made his mark, Villarreal. Yeah. But I must say that this season with Fulham, he's been pulling really his weight. And that's why he's starting today also. And I think that such players are very useful for Nigeria.
Well, jostling for position is one thing, but sometimes there's a little more than some simple jostling going on. Novartis Miroshi among those at the very centre of the situation. Calvin Bassey as well. There's Calvin on his jersey. Turns 26 next week. Abdullah is among those being spoken to. The other, Victor Osimhen.
Well, I think arguing with the Tanzanians is great for the Tanzanians at this point.
This is where tournaments are shaped. Delivery in, Foba calls and he's fouled, and call goes. There's a free kick to Tanzania.
When a team is trying to frustrate you and they're playing the negative game like the Tanzanians are doing now, I wouldn't even call it negative. I think they're just going compact, because by ball possession, you see them go off. Having to go into such discussions, arguments with them, oh, that was a clear foul. That was a clear foul by Bassey. But these are things that Nigeria has to avoid.
Long ball. Played in over the top and behind the Nigerian defensive line, but there's no concern for any of the Super Eagles players. It's been a period of domination for Nigeria. 6 shots to 2. They've overwhelmed with territory, possession, the passing game.
Yeah, but let's not be fooled by these statistics, because the physiognomy of this game is intentionally created by the Tanzanians, who are playing deep and leaving the play to Nigerians anyway.
Tanzania. Oh, Akor Adams gets away from 2 before being felled. Play on is the call. Hussein looks for an opportunity to whip that ball into to Mombwa. Akor Adams down after this, gliding past 2. Caught by Hussein.
That's arguably a foul, but he took the ball, so I think we should give credit to the referee. But that notwithstanding, Akor has been the most active striker in the Nigerian front line.
Yes, he's got off to a rollicking start in his international career. Scored on debut against Lesotho just a couple of months ago. Scored again in the semi-finals of the World Cup playoffs against Gabon. He's constantly looking dangerous. He looks to be involved in the game. But again, it comes back to that movement of his. It allows him to look like he's part of the game and ready to pounce as required.
Exactly. That is just the motto. Technically, he's very good.
Nobali. Turns out still for Chippa United in South Africa. And he had success in Nigeria before he left for South African shores. As he will be. Oh, that's lovely.
Lovely ball.
in between the defence, round the keeper. Osimhen is taken a little too wide, cuts it back. Well, the only player there is a man who shot 40 yards across the pitch to try to deny Nigeria a chance. Mombo with some excellent vision has plucked possession for Tanzania. Alarakia.
That was a lovely play from Iwobi to Osimhen. But I think his first touch kind of like did him in there. But this was a real opportunity for Nigeria to strike at goal.
Well, this has been a tournament in which not too many goals have been scored in the opening half. We saw Morocco, Comoros both find their goals, both goals for Morocco in the second half. Sinayoko and Daka both scored in the second half, and the Mali-Zambia 1-1 draw. Some late goals as well. Foster's winner for South Africa against Angola. Salah's 90th minute winner for Egypt after Marmoush had equalised in the second half against Zimbabwe. There's Chukwueze. Another dazzling run down the flank. No finish though ultimately. Indeed he will recover this as Hussein clears. Iwobi, his movement, his work rate has been exceptional, as it so often is for the national team. He will be among those players approaching 100 international appearances, earning his 92nd cap here and now.
And he's done all that in 10 years. Started way back in 2015.
Ajay. Over the top, Michael Adams is making the run. Abdullah with a little touch, it falls to Osimhen. Looks out wide. Maybe a cutback option there. A few of his teammates turn and look away, including Lukman.
What could help Nigeria a bit is that in possession, when we go on the attack, it's good to have movements around the man with the ball. So if he can shoot, he can find somebody.
Noali. He's mentioning he was a league winner with Nyimba in years gone by. He was also with Wiki Tourists, with Lobby Stars, Katsina United as well, I think, for a little bit. He's established a rather firm base in what is now Gqeberha in South Africa, formerly Port Elizabeth, where Chippa United share a home base. Side he's been with now for over 3 years. Samata looking to make a little bit of a break. Suva with a run diagonally that Bassi follows, and Calvin comes away with possession. Akor Adams. Osimhen into space, touches on, drives past the keeper, and surely now denied with a clearance off the line. Scrambling defensive effort that denies Nigeria the lead, courtesy of Bakari Mamnyeto.
Great strike, but Osimhen should have tried as much as possible to put that ball in the air, not on the ground. Beating the goalkeeper, the next ball should be up, forwards. That will have been more difficult for the defender to defend it.
Well, there's quality defending from Mamnyeto, a younger man, to deny Osimhen, who rounded the keeper for the second time in the game, but got off an accurate shot for the first time. Chukwueze, here's Iwobi. Nigeria still pushing. High presence, the header is there, and the goal is good. Nigeria can celebrate. The Super Eagles have left off, and it's Shemi Ajay who scores only his second international goal.
This was exactly what we were saying earlier, where against teams that play compact, set pieces have to be used to the maximum. And that's what Nigeria has just done now. I think this was coming. This was coming because of the fact that lying so deep by the Tanzanians. Beautiful pull out. And a very good header.
Well, that's lovely lofted in by Iwobi. But Shemi Ajay That aerial presence that is often so critical in defensive efforts becomes critical up front as he scores the opener for Nigeria.
And he attacked the ball. Very, very important. Came from behind, went towards the ball and attacked it.
Akor Adams celebrating with Shemi Ajayi. He might have had a jovial word about that's how it's done. Over the top, Alarache now for Tanzania. Looks to bustle his way past Ndidi. Well, it's bright. We'll say Samuel, a little bit of respite as Shemi Ajayi comes across as cover. Hussein. Miroshi. This is dangerous passing when you get Akor Adams in a position like that, given his speed and mobility that we've discussed on numerous occasions. This is Wana Samata, just out of picture, is showing a lot of frustration at the moment. He's being starved completely of supply. When Tanzania has the ball, he's not been the immediate outlet for them. I think he wants a little more of the ball. But this is where, wearing the captain's armband, maybe he needs to take a little more responsibility as well and direct issues even when off the ball.
That is true, but also the way they are playing, the fact what they've decided to play, the formation that they're very, very, very compact, that means that he's kind of like lonely up front. And now they have to decide, what do they do? Do they still stay backwards and be content with playing the way they've been doing ever since, or now try to push up more?
Out wide, Zaidu Sanusi. Spoke about the tempo of this match, just slowed a little now after the goal. And that goal, a solid platform for Nigeria. Here's Lukman, seeking another. Hussein has read that well. Anticipates brilliantly, does Hussein, has done throughout his entire career, the fantastic left back. Nobali. Ndidi.
It's very important now that Nigeria manages the tempo. It could be understood now to be patient and now make sure the attacks are well constructed. You're leading 1-0 anyway, so for that reason, it has to be well constructed. Take your time. Exactly.
Iwobi. Straight down the centre, Lukman again searching. That ball deflects almost kindly out towards Akor Adams. Doesn't get a touch on this, is again Momieto manages to clear. Big clashes, a few physical moments of contact. Eventually the free kick awarded to Nigeria. Calvin Bassey concerningly down.
It's kind of like, that should be a yellow card, I think. It's kind of like feels like a retaliatory foul here that I'm seeing here.
4 players involved, 2 of them were captains, Didi and Samata, involved in that little passage of play. 40 minutes have come and gone. Nigeria have taken the lead. We're coming up towards half-time here in Fez. The rain continues to come down, not heavily.
But I know it's the way the Tanzanians are playing. I think it's really interesting to look at because they are still disciplined. They are still following the game plan. And it's kind of as if they didn't have a plan B. That was, we're going to play this way, because if they had a plan B, that means they could have maybe agreed, how we change our game, should we concede in spite of playing deep? Hopefully they are waiting maybe for the halftime. Maybe then the boss will rearrange them.
Refuel.
Exactly. We've been talking about pragmatism earlier on.
Certainly were. The narrative continues. Free kick Tanzania. Abdullah wants to take it himself. Hussein stays forward. Hussein, who's joined Young Africans this year after 11 seasons with Simba, where he carved out legendary status. Here. We'll leave this for Hussein potentially. Indeed, he walks away. Samata walks away. Kapombe out wide. Miroshi wanted to get involved. Little pullback from Mwamba, danger area. Again, it's Ajay this time, using his aerial prowess to help defensively after having scored the only goal of this game with his head a moment ago. Straight down the centre, the option potentially there. Miroshi might fancy something, looks for Samata now. Space, Alarachia on target. Mobali in the wet, unable to seize it cleanly, but blocks the shot and then smothers it. Among those watching on, the Confederation of African Football President, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. Another look at Iwobi's wonderful ball in.
Lovely ball. Well dosed. The dosage was perfect.
Quality finish from Shemi Ajay.
The finish was made possible by the dosage he gave to the ball. Because the strength that the ball had, it was just there. All he had to do was connect with it.
Lukman inside the area, squares it. Cleared by Abdallah. Scrambling defensive effort from Tanzania. And then the free kick going the way of the Taifa Stars, who are ranked 112th in the world, Nigeria 38th. So significant separation between the sides. 5th in Africa, the Super Eagles currently. 3-time champions of the Africa Cup of Nations. Group stage exits for Tanzania in their 3 previous appearances. They've yet to win a game at the Africa Cup of Nations. They are hopeful that they can do it here as they head towards the next tournament that they will co-host with Kenya and Uganda in an East African affair. Akor Adams being spoken to. He's having his say. Akor Adams.
I really don't see what he's having his say for there, because he ran into the man a bit.
Running through his opponent. In a sense, you want to see that kind of emotion, but Afcon is one of those tournaments where emotional control is so important as well.
It's more than important, Dwayne, because at the end of the day, Africans are. This is a tournament, that championship we don't take for granted. It's the African World Cup.
Lovely ball through. Msuva looks to run onto it. 2 players wait. Alarahi is there. So too Mapula. Delivery in, and Mwamba looks to finish, but he's driven it wide, and that'll be out for the goal kick.
Nigerians are getting passive defensively. They don't try to anticipate to win the ball. It's as if they're waiting for the Tanzanians to make the mistake. They have to be very careful, because that could be costly. It's one thing to dominate the game, but it's something else to allow the opposition to play in your own half.
That is an excellent point. As we hit the 45-minute mark, only 1 minute of additional time here in Fez, one of the great cities in Africa, the cultural and spiritual capital of Morocco. It is the home of the oldest continuously operating university in the world, and Nigeria will be wanting to educate Tanzania tonight. As Osei Ndidi looks from range, and that's a brilliant effort, denied by Format. Chukwueze picks up on it, chance to finish, deflected and tipped over.
He should have struck it immediately. The moment the goalkeeper was on the ground, he should have used his non-kicking foot.
Oh, how about the pile driver from Ndidi in the first place?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh.
And that's supposed to be his weak foot. Here, he should have struck the ball immediately when the ball came back. The moment you do that, yeah, there is panic here, hit it. Goal is goal. It doesn't matter if it's beautiful or not.
Worked away. Ball fed in again by Chukwueze from the near side. Delivery again toward the back post. Looking for the acrobatic. And Osimhen while successful in making contact, sees his effort denied by Zuberi Foba in the Tanzanian goal. It's the first half that has seen only one goal yielded. Very quick thoughts on the Olise and what you've seen in the opening 45.
Well, I think the Tanzanians have nothing to be ashamed of because I think they've played very well. Tactically, they've been very good. And I think Nigeria has been able to take the lead in this game thanks to better individual qualities.
It will be with the assist, Ajayi with the goal, Nigeria with the lead. It's 1-0 at half-time in Fez. A little huddle for Nigerian players before they make their way from the pitch. The Tanzanian players already in the tunnel. There's a distinct team spirit sense that you get from this Nigerian squad, the Super Eagles squad, where belief needs to be key if they are to launch an attack on Afcon. Can't quite bring it under control the way he would have liked. Throw into Nigeria early, and Bassi leaves it for Sanusi. No changes from either one of these sides at half-time. Are you a little surprised by that, or are you happy that they are both continuing to build on their game plans of the opening half?
I think it's a little bit normal because there has not been really monumental errors from, I think it's just Nigeria just played on their best qualities.
Osimhen!
That's a goal.
And inside the opening minutes after the restart, the offside flag is up, it won't count. But Akor Adams with a diagonal run latches onto a ball, feeds it in. Osimhen with a finish of tremendous quality, but the flag up for offside.
Akor is a thorn on the flesh of the Tanzanians. He's mobile, he's calculating his runs. And I think for Nigeria, Osimhen has to also time his runs better.
Well, he does flirt with the offside line. Now, Dan Bede is not going to allow play to get back underway until it has been checked. The video assistant referee will need to confirm whether or not this is offside. But within seconds of the restart, Victor Osimhen with another delightful finish. He's another player who celebrates a birthday soon. Just 6 days' time, he'll celebrate his 27th birthday. And maybe looking to give himself a little bit of an early birthday present with a fine finish here. How was that touch to finish them?
But I think what we should give compliment to the movement of Akor.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's, like we said earlier on in the first half, he's been mobile, he's been very hard-working.
Well, that diagonal run was certainly telling, and his ability to cross is exceptional. He proved that with his movement, with his unselfish square ball in towards the fine finisher that is Victor Osimhen. Looking for his 32nd international goal. Only 47 appearances. Chukwueze delivering out wide. Lukman tucks in. Chukwueze now into a little pocket of space. Delightful return ball. Ararakia looks to close down, and Foba is called upon as the ball is lofted into his area. A little too close to the goalkeeper, and he's allowed a comfortable catch. Kapombe straight down the centre. A little foul.
Tactical foul, quite smart, or looks smart, because that broke the counter-attack that was building up.
Yeah, and Mwombo's got he's got a really, really good passing range. Chance Mwombo, based in Australia. Yep. Scored on debut against Niger a couple of years ago. He'd love to score against Nigeria here and now. Returning from an offside position, Al-Araki has flagged. Nigeria can get play back underway. Calvin Bassi through the centre. Lukman couldn't bring it under control. Controlled by Miroshi in midfield for Tanzania. Here's Hussein. If they can string together a clean series of passes, though, that's the problem. Nigeria have put enough pressure to disrupt the passing game of Tanzania that when they're given space, can flourish. Kapombe in toward the edge of that area. Samata crowded opts not to go through, finds Alarakia. Miroshi, chip over the top, and the run on, and that's going to stand. Mwamba has now got 3 goals in his last 2 games. Tanzania back on level terms in brilliant fashion. Samata's route blocked. The pullback, the chip over the top of the defensive line, and Mwamba with a telling run. The man who scored on debut has now scored again here.
Dwayne, this is impressive. Look at the change of direction, the change of play. This goal started from the right, shifted to the left. They moved Nigeria right, left, and when the ball came back to the left, there was nobody taking the man. This is tactically well executed.
Well, any analyst who's done his work on Tanzania would know the pace of Mwamba is key, and Mwamba has punished Nigeria. Delightful little lift over the top. Nobody going with the runner.
And what is interesting that just before they scored this goal, you had made this is the offside.
That's inches. Nigeria are inches away from 2-0, and Tanzania take the ball up and score on the opposite end.
That's football.
It's football. You were saying?
What I found very interesting here is that you were just saying it before, that they needed to string some passes together, talking about the Tanzanians. And they answered you right. They strung, I think, 4 or 5 passes together, but changing direction from left to right, and it's got the goal.
And maybe the presence of Samata there was key, because when Samata got onto the ball, his path was immediately blocked. There were 3 defenders in front of him. What that did was create a little bit of space and maybe diverted attention from Mwamba's run. Nigeria look through the centre here. Lukman delivers again. Ademola Lukman with a fine goal that takes Nigeria back in front. Mere minutes after an equaliser for Tanzania. Lukman looks up and places it perfectly beyond Zuberi Foba and the Tanzanian goal. 2 goals in effectively 2 minutes in the second half passage of play.
Clinical finishing, really. He took matters into his own hands.
4 players in front of him.
But clinical finishing with his left foot. This is really well struck.
Well, he was the rampant goal scorer in the knockout stages for Nigeria at the last Africa Cup of Nations. His brace against Cameroon in the round of 16, his goal in the win over Angola in the quarterfinals. He was the go-to player. He's got his first goal at Afcon 2025. And it's a glorious strike. With 4 defenders in front of him. Picked his place with precision. Iwobi, Ndidi, Calvin Bassett forward now up toward the halfway line where Kapombe returns it to Nigerian territory. Chukwueze bumped off the ball by Miroshi. Happy to get physical, Novartis Miroshi.
This is the beauty of the Afcon, the physicality, and the fact that players refuse to go willingly to the ground. It's really beautiful.
Well, I was going to return to the underdog story and maybe talk about how real it might be for Tanzania having scored that equaliser, but Lukman didn't give me a chance to go there. Nigeria reclaimed the lead.
Well, that's why we love the Afcon.
Kapombe whipped in, decent looking delivery, space for Alarakia, hits it, deflected, and that's pushed wide, but the offside flag will go up. Suva with a final touch.
Once again, that's passive defending by Nigerians there. It's unadmissible at this level to leave the man behind. Inadmissible.
Well, if Nigeria have the quality, Tanzania have the hunger, and they're looking to showcase that.
This is actually turning out to be a very explosive match now, both end-to-end stuff for us.
It certainly has been. Big midfield battle, and Ndidi with a challenge, and that'll be challenged.
Tanzanians are growing in this game. They are going with self-belief, and the Nigerians have, if they want to win this game, they have to quench that one way or the other.
Nigeria continuing in brilliant ways in the group stages. They've lost only one of their last 14. They're well poised to claim victory here, but Tanzania looking to fight back. Alarakia gets underneath it.
He did everything right except the positioning of his head when he struck the ball. Leaning backwards, all the ball could do was go upwards.
Well, this is very much an underdog story in the sense that Nigeria have won the tournament as many times as Tanzania have played in the tournament. Their world ranking is significant. The chasm between the two. Akor Adams and Simen looking to get into position to finish. Forba comes but doesn't collect, and corner as a result. 10 minutes gone in the second half. 2 goals, a disallowed goal.
Victor Osimhen is ever dangerous with crosses.
There's plenty of excitement. It's been an enthralling 10-minute period. No doubt delighting the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. So, from the set piece, corner whipped in. A little too close. Samata doing the defensive duties himself. Captain back. The free kick, Tanzania. A little bit of pressure released.
Well, he had given an advantage earlier on, and I think he just went back to the foul before.
Eric Schell, how much of the history does he breathe? And speaking of history, some history being made tonight, potentially. Lukman with a 52nd minute goal after Mwambwa had found an equaliser for Tanzania just 2 minutes earlier. After Ajay found a goal in the 10 minutes leading up to half-time. Changes to come for Nigeria. Well, we've got a couple of players who'll be looking to make an impact in this game, making their way on shortly. Among them, Delebashiru. I'd love to see Moses Simon impress his skill upon this game.
He's an outright winger.
So yellow card coming out now. Lukman. Unimpressed.
I think the Tanzanians for Tanzanians to turn this around, they need to continue what they're doing now, which is they are now playing quicker, 1, 2, 3 touches at the most, and having movements, having bodies in front of the ball. But I think for Nigeria, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to take back total control of the ball. And at the moment, the Tanzanians are giving them a good fight for it.
So Chukwueze makes way, and Moses Simon is on. Just before the hour mark. Well, Akor Adams is going to give way. He's a man who he cares so much about the effort he puts in and wants so desperately to score that he looks disappointed as he leaves the pitch. Delebashiru on in his place. The 24-year-old now with Lazio. He's chipped in with a couple of fine goals for Nigeria in his 9 previous appearances, into double figures now of international caps for the German-born attacker.
I am curious to know if Akor is injured or if that is just a tactical change, because he's been the liveliest striker for the Nigerians till now. I hope it's not that he's had an injury.
Certainly from a concern perspective, that will be very much the case. You want to have your best players available throughout the competition, and Uncle Adams, although he's a relatively recent arrival on the international stage for Nigeria, he's somebody whose star is rapidly rising.
That's true, but the Nigerians have not won this one yet, so they need their best players on the pitch.
So Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1. Exciting moments in the second half, about 17. This has been an action which there have been a few momentum swings, but the second half has been punctuated by momentum shifts. An hour comes up on the stadium clock here in Fez. Nigeria lead by 1. They're edging it currently by the odd goal. He will be. Here's Simon. Moses Simon, dazzling run. Simon pushing, squaring. Osimhen juggling, Lookman, and that's tipped over by Forba. Out for the corner it goes.
That's what Moses Simon is going to bring for you. He's a outright winger. He's got pace. He's got experience. And now you're going to see with this player loads of crosses coming in.
Yeah, I mean, the quality of his assist making is extraordinary. He's only one of 2 players who've assisted a goal in each of the last 3 Afcon editions. The only other player to do that is Sadio Mane of Senegal. Delivery in, worked away, and maybe looking to hit on transition here. Not moving it quite as they would like. Osimhen has it back. Osimhen pounces, but his attempt to finish is wide. Nigeria maintaining that presence, that high press. They're looking to win the ball back when they lose it.
Which is not a failed idea to have, because like we said earlier, they need to take back possession of the game.
Well, there's going to be a change for Tanzania before play happens, and the man who's making his way on is a very dangerous attacker. Simon Msuva makes way, now based in Iraq at Al-Talawa. He's going to make his way off the pitch as Kelvin John, the Danish-based striker, makes his way on. Ajay back to Nwabali. Now, Kelvin John is one that many felt would be starting this game for Tanzania if they really wanted to try to impose themselves from an offensive perspective on Nigeria. He's got a very positive attitude about offensive football, Kelvin John. He's only 22, he's got that youthful enthusiasm and hunger. And maybe his opportunity here to use it in the closing half hour of this opening Group C tie for the respective teams. Miroshi out wide, Hussein. Wonderful control, delivery looks decent as well on the damp surface. It's fine defending from Suva. Miroshi brings it under control, back out wide again, Hussein. And takes a little deflection, out for the corner it goes. Tanzania, they're not lying down.
Not at all. It's just like we said at the beginning of the second half, what they needed to do, and they are doing it better than I had expected. They're pushing players' legs up front. They're trying to take possession. They're trying to determine their own fate. And that's quite refreshing to see. They have self-belief.
Now, not convinced that was quite the delivery that Miroshi would have wanted. Fended away at the near post. Sawadele Bashiru with a few questions. High floated ball toward the back post. It's Mabulo got a touch on it, Nigeria. Happy to work the ball away, Ndidi with a clearance. Kapombe brings it under control. Out from under the feet of Osimhen, and now a little bit of space potentially. The offside flag is raised. good period of sustained pressure by Tanzania on Nigeria, possibly for the first time in the game.
Impressed. I think they did very good work at the halftime in the dressing room. It's very obvious that they have decided to take their fate in their own hands. And like I said earlier, they got belief. Why shouldn't they? They are here, they are the Afcon. And but I still repeat that this game is not over, in my opinion.
Well, certainly far from being over. Nigeria, they looked fairly dominant in qualifying. They were Group D winners ahead of Benin, Rwanda and Libya. For Tanzania, they were second in Group H. They were in the group with Democratic Republic of Congo. They finished ahead of Guinea and Ethiopia to qualify for this tournament. The first time they've qualified for successive Afcon tournaments after playing in 2023. Before that, in 2019, and before that, in 1980, when they started their Afcon journey in Lagos against Nigeria. And it's come full circle to Fez.
When you are playing at the Afcon and you're leading by 2-1, one thing you need to do, one thing we used to do to gain victory is that you are not content at that. You still try to be aggressive and try to make the opponent know that I will score you more.
Moses Simon, well, he was in such rampant form leading up to the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and then injury struck the cruelest blow and denied him a place at that World Cup. But he keeps coming back. He's a resilient star, is Moses Simon. Keeps this ball in play. Inside, outside. Moses Simon for the assist, potentially. Iwobi! Just over. Well, that was one of those movements that everybody in the stadium lived. Off their seats in anticipation of a finish, but agonizingly high.
It will have been almost like a carbon copy of the goal scored by Lukman. Left foot.
Victor Osimhen. That almost pleading look at Iwobi. Lay it into my path. And Iwobi's assist for the opener, stunning. Here is a ball laid into Osimhen's path. It was an awkward angle to try to finish with his right. Ends up tapping it rather tamely towards Forbe in the Tanzanian goal. Got the shot away. It'll count as an effort on target, but not quite the finish that he would have been seeking.
Well, let's talk about Moses Simon. I think what he has brought to the Nigerian side is that now Nigeria's side has more width on the left side, and there are so many crosses coming in now. So I think might be good. Might serve the Nigerians well.
Well, there are chants of Osimhen all around this venue. He's a crowd puller, he's a favourite, and he absolutely delivers on the grand stage more often than not. He's just come off his first season in the Super League, where he averaged effectively a goal a game to win a league and cup double with Galatasaray. And I mean, lest we forget his heroics at Napoli. I'm not going to draw any comparisons with other players, but he did what maybe only Maradona had done previously, and that's to take Napoli to a league title against the odds. Delivery toward the back post, fended away by Nwabali.
Dangerous in-swerving ball there.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Was headed a little wide, but taking no chances. Calvin Bassey has been stoic defensively. Moses Simon looking to call a play. Lukman is standing just off to try to keep this from being taken short. Sent in invitingly, but again nodded away. Kelvin John pulls it back. Miroshi switches the angle, gets away from Osimhen. A little bit of space straight down the centre where Hussein has it control. Abdullah. 1-2 again. Mabula looking to get involved. Better passing ability and range now for Tanzania, who are finding some freedom and some space on the park. Better passages building.
Well, it seems to me tactically what they've decided to do, and that's how they got the goal in the first place, was always try to take the Super Eagles of Nigeria to one side of the pitch and then change the game to the other side of the pitch. And that's exactly what they just did now, and it's working. It's piling pressure on the Nigerian defense.
Mwamba, whoever hits this one. Miguel Gamondi, where does he go from here? This feels a little more like a chess match than a sprint, which is sometimes how teams want to get their tournaments underway. 20 minutes to play. Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1 in Fez. But certainly Nigeria have been a little more on the back foot in this second half. Looking to get on the front foot again. Simon. Worked away. Mwamnyeto. Eric Schell is a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. Plenty of emotion, often visible from Eric Schell. Zaidu Sanusi. Calvin Bassey. Ajay opened the scoring in the opening half. Didi just in behind Bright Osei Samuel. Here's Lukman. Well, Osimhen broke right and then stopped as Lukman passed left. Simon was making a good break as well down the left flank for Nigeria. A little discontent from a few on the park after that ball rolled harmlessly over the goal line.
Kind of got a feeling Osimhen stopped because he was afraid of going into the offside again. So.
Down the near side, Tanzania. Miroshi, he's been key in midfield for Tanzania. As they have risen in belief, looking to shape their tournament and create a new Afcon history. Didi with the ball back. Here's Iwobi between them. Almost 165 caps. Plenty of experience between those two. Sanusi getting involved. Again, it's Simon in combination with Iwobi. Gets past his marker. Kapombe left behind. Delivery in. Fended away by Abdullah. Got the slightest of touches on it. Recovered by Lukman. Nigeria seeking a way through on the overlap now. Cut back, a little bit of space. And to safety from Tanzania.
Well, when you're playing against the pack defense, you go through the wings. And that's why it could be interesting, the introduction of, it is interesting, the introduction of Moses Simon.
Out wide, in behind the defender. Cut back was certainly on, but not accomplished. Abdullah with a good, clean bit of defensive work to deny the pass completion. Miroshi. Well, Miroshi's just been all over the park in the second half. He's been extraordinary in midfield for Tanzania. After a period of sustained pressure inside the Nigerian final third, they find themselves now pegged back in their own half.
Well, I must say it's not only Rashima. I think it's the whole Tanzanian team that kind of like raised the game up now.
They have. They have. Have you noted any patterns from either side in the game?
What I've noticed the most is that tactically, Tanzania, they've diversified their game more. They had just one. We're speaking about the plan A, plan B now. I am seeing a plan A and B and maybe even a C now sometimes with them. So it's quite interesting what they're doing. They're attracting the Nigerians to one side and shifting the game to the other side. And it's working very well for them.
Lovely pass from Iwobi. Abdullah again, the thorn in the side of Osimhen. The free kick awarded to Tanzania. Calvin John not playing quite so direct as he sometimes does. He's an adaptable player who can play anywhere across the front line. The steady rain that continues to fall over the Complexe Sportif de Fez. It's not a heavy rain, but it is persistent. Players need to prove their adaptability, their versatility. Iwobi, exceptional again tonight. Lukman squeezes through past the defender, and the slightest deflection, though, allows Zuberi forward time to come and collect. Good awareness from the young goalkeeper. 15 minutes of action remains in this Group C tie. Zaidu Sanusi. I think not since Tai Taiwo has somebody really stuck their hand up and said, I am the left back. And he's really grown in stature in his international appearances.
And Nigeria, they've had a lot of them.
Lukman.
Oh, that's poor after the great first touch by Musi Simon.
Alarakia, down he goes. Indeed, he questions why the free kick was given. And a free kick awarded regardless as Alarakia goes down. There's going to be a few changes for Tanzania to come, it seems. For now, they're playing with some decent belief on the pitch. Simon, Iwobi. Back with Iwobi on the halfway line.
Well, tactically, Nigerians are doing now what they need to do all through. That is, they should decide the tempo, start slowly, and accelerate when you move up forwards.
Sanusi, cut back, looked decent, looked promising. No finish. Mwamba. Driven back as Iwobi comes back and just shields that defence once again. Kapombe. He's got options. Samata on his 33rd birthday, looking to get Tanzania back in this. Puts himself into a very handy position going forward, but Miroshi opts to pass the ball diagonally. Out wide, Alarakia. Back to Miroshi. Calvin John and Samata both wait, but Iwobi has it back. Ball in over the top. A little bit of a scramble from Abdullah. Works it back to his keeper.
Pretty interesting. This is what they changed in the first half. When the Tanzanians had the ball, they had very few options up front. Now, each time a player from the when a Tanzanian has the ball, he has automatically almost 4 options to pass the ball to, be it short, be it wide.
So, changes to come. Taran Alarakia is done. His race is run, and on in his place now, Dixon Job turns 25 next week. Kapombe has also made way, and that man Hajim Nonga on in his stead, the 21-year-old from Salford City in England. He's born and raised in England and lives Portsmouth. Came through the Portsmouth ranks, spent 16 years at the club, and now with Salford City in England. Sanusi. It's all gotten a little quieter now.
Which is good for Nigeria, but bad for Tanzania.
Bear in mind, Nigeria were finalists at the last Africa Cup of Nations. Handball called against Lukman as Miroshi just cut that ball back. And Nigeria were also finalists the last time the Africa Cup of Nations was played in Morocco, back in 1988. Nonga getting knocked over. That'll be a free kick to Tanzania.
Those are the kind of fouls Nigeria will need to avoid, because set pieces, they could be the door opener for a team like this.
Inside the final 10 minutes, Miroshi says, I'll take it myself. Whips the ball in, asking invitingly. And a man who's not used to scoring in Hussein Mohammed looks to try to find a finish. Scored his first international goal earlier this year, actually, in the African Nations Championship in Tanzania on home soil. Scored in a victory over Burkina Faso. Delivery in, Osimhen brings it down, doesn't bring it under control. Keeper's come out dangerously. Bashiru looked to finish but couldn't. Blocked by Foba, who's down on one knee and will maybe take a little medical treatment. Another opportunity. A chance is coming for both these sides.
Oh, I think Osimhen could have done better with the first touch there. I think that's what put him into kind of sorts, because physically he seemed to have dominated the defender, yeah.
Tanzania looking to stand tall again. Their Afcon story has traced a very wide arc across the continent. Nigeria await the arrival of Paul Onwachu. His introduction seems imminent. Far side. Well, not quite gone according to plan. Bashiru down the far flank.
It's understandable what he tried to do. I think the idea was good, but the execution was what failed him. He did not cover the ball when he struck the ball.
So, still a tight game. Nonga looking to chase. Square ball was on. Calvin Bassey, again calm and composed, manages to bring that ball under control despite tracking back towards his own goal. Nonga wins it back from Simon. That's not something you see all too often. And Simon, in trying to win it back, concedes the foul. Tanzania take quickly. Forward, Mabula. Back into space, Miroshi. Just in front of that back four. Mabula again. Lovely ball through. Chance to strike it first time, not taken, and then pulled off target at the second time of asking by Kelvin John.
Personally, this is probably the best Tanzanian side I've seen play. This is all well constructed, what they're doing, and you can see the idea in everything they're trying to do.
There's been a lot of successes for Tanzanian football in recent times. Certainly the impressive exploits of some of their top teams like Simba and Azam and young Africans on the continent. There's also been Great excitement about the prospect of co-hosting the next Africa Cup of Nations, and indeed already co-hosting the recent African Nations Championship. This team qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations for successive editions for the first time. There's much positivity surrounding Tanzania and Tanzanian football. Taifa Stars heading in the right direction.
From what you're saying, you can see that you can now collaborate what we're saying about the way they're playing with the improvement of the club sides.
Oh, Simon hit that ferociously, straight though into the body of Monyeto. Calvin Bassey stand out defensively. And that'll be free kick to Nigeria. With that, we're going to see the change. And making his way on, Iberi Paul Onwachu. Now based in Turkey, in Trabzonspor. And he brings a great deal of attacking intent, doesn't he?
I think it's probably a good idea for Nigeria to bring him in, because he's tall, he can hold up the ball up front. And at the moment, Nigerians are very wary of Osimhen getting injured. So taking him off now, especially towards the tail end of the game, is probably the idea, trying to avoid him from having injuries maybe.
Wrap him in cotton wool, they say.
That's a nice way to say it.
Keep him safe and sound. Victor Osimhen marches back to the bench. Whipped in. That's a little too strong from Simon on the far side. Into the final 5 minutes of this Group C encounter, and the tempo that we saw at the start of the half has not been sustained. I mean, that intensity, though, would be difficult to match for 45 minutes, never mind 90. But there's no signs of fatigue from either one of these sides, which is a good indication for their respective campaigns. But speaking of their campaigns, Nigeria will be looking in 4 days' time to take on Tunisia, a very, very challenging team that knows how to play tournament football. Samata looking to release out on the far side. Square ball. Bassi again there to try to square that ball away from goal. Maybe collides with his goalkeeper. Calvin John was lurking behind him.
Lack of communication. Lack of communication. But this beautiful movement by the Tanzanians.
Well, that's the danger that Mohamed Hussein possesses when he goes on that overlap down the left flank, because he's such a dangerous crosser of the ball. From the corner, Miroshi in toward the near post, bouncing around dangerously. The opportunity, however, not taken by Tanzania. Abdullah with a chance to finish, and instead has only seen an agonizing moment, not only in the miss, but indeed the cramp that seemingly struck him moments after.
This asymmetric way of attacking that the Tanzanians are doing is really, really impressive. They are dominating when they go up front, with the fact that they attract Nigeria to one side and they switch it back to the other side, which is quite impressive at this level to see a team consistently do that.
So 2 minutes plus added time. Nwabali to get the ball back into play from a goal kick. Launches it a long way upfield. Nonga's underneath it. Sanusi now down the near side. Can't find a way through. Here's Miroshi looking to get things going. Lukman, he was on target in the qualifiers. He was on target in this half. Nigeria looking for a third in the game. Delivery to come away by Abdullah again.
Too much touches of the ball.
Didi finding Bassi, forward to Iwobi, now Zaidu Sanusi again. Seeking a way through, not going to happen here. Into the 90th minute we go. Nigeria on the verge of an opening day victory this campaign. Delivery in, scooped away. Samata with a little touch. Counter-attack is on. Wilfred Ndidi, though, cuts it out. Lukman. Sanusi. Moses Simon. Oh, blistering again.
He's been very good for Nigeria ever since he's come on.
It's his takeoff speed. I mean, he goes from 0 to 100 in one step.
And he's not the tallest guy on the pitch. That's the beautiful part of it all.
Far side. So back to Shemi Ajayi, whose goal seems an age away now. As we hit the 90-minute mark, 3 minutes of additional time here in Fez. Nigeria lead by 1. Zaidu Sanusi, among those who's stuck his hand up to be counted in today's opening fixture in Group C. It's going to be a change here for Tanzania. They're looking to make an attacking change as Dennis Kibu will make his way on. Off goes the goal scorer for Tanzania, Mombwa.
Lots of positives from this game from Tanzania. I think they could really build on what they've put up here today, playing against one of the favorites on paper and able to put up this performance they've done here today.
Nigeria. Slowing it down, a little patience at times. I suppose there is a difference between slowing things down deliberately and being patient about your game.
Now, what they're doing now is perfect. There is no need to rush now. You don't need to win every game by 2 goals. Oh, hey, this is the time they have to slow it down. It's up to the Tanzanians now to come up there. There is no rush to go forward now. The ball just have to just circulate the ball around.
Nwaju just pulls it back, and Didi on the halfway line. Nigeria, on that day that I've mentioned a few times, back in 1980 in Lagos, Nigeria victorious by 3 goals to 1 over Tanzania.
And Nigeria ended up winning that tournament.
They did.
This time around, it's 2-1. There's still, who knows, maybe a 3rd goal is coming.
But the importance of that tournament for Tanzania was significant as well. Even though they failed to win a match, there were generations of footballers that heard stories about the team in 1980 that had qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. It seemed like an unreachable achievement. And now they've qualified for 3 of the last 4 tournaments.
Not forgetting that back in the days, you did not have so many participants from Africa. You had fewer nations that could qualify.
Yes. I think their progress has been measured in more than just results. It's been measured in competitiveness, in staying alive in games longer, in no longer being overawed by more illustrious opponents.
But from a tactical point of view, this is the best I have seen them play. The way they were able to manage this game and, you know, in sequences from the first half, it's been impressive.
Whistle in the mouth, and that will be it, says Dahan Beda of Mauritania. The referee signals the end of this opening fixture in Group C of the Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025. And Nigeria have beaten Tanzania by 2 goals to 1. It's not a statement win, but it is 3 points guaranteed and a perfect platform to launch into their campaign before they meet Tunisia on match day 2 in 4 days' time. Tanzania have Uganda in Rabat in 4 days' time before they finish their group against Tunisia 3 days after that. Victor Osimhen might not have been on the scoreboard today, but he punctuated play with his movement. Lukman was superb. And a few players stuck their hands up tremendously despite the wet conditions. Final score, Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1 in Fez.
Been very impressed with Akko, with the way Akko played the game from the beginning. I think the mobility he gave Nigeria in front really made it easier for them to impose the game today. And Calvin defensively was huge for Nigeria. So Nigeria, this game, it's a very important game for Nigeria. They must make sure they did not lose this game. But starting with a win after the elimination from the World Cup, there's nothing better for them to go on. On the other hand, for the Tanzanians, I feel, they could build on this game today.
Yeah, maybe a little reminder that they are here and that they could still surprise somebody in the group. But momentum gained for Nigeria with the win, and that's significant.
It's extremely important when you start your game by your challenge for the title with a win. On the other hand, the Tanzanians, they did not lose by many. So that means they're still in contention to qualify as second or even maybe as best third. So everything is possible.
Certainly everything is possible. Let's find out who the person that stood out the most for the technical study group is concerned as Nigeria gather in the huddle following their professional and accomplished start to this tournament. Job started, not nearly finished. The players will break now, and one player has been separated from the huddle to go and achieve his accolade and receive his award. The Total Energies Man of the Match to come. There's a few that stuck their hand up tonight for that honor. But only one can receive the trophy. He rose highest